got the invasive stuff, let's throw that away. I want totally non-invasive. I don't want to do anything. So this is something that is brand new, you're right. It's been around, it was only invented about 2 years ago. It was only FDA approved several months ago, and it's about freezing fat. So if you're looking at these pictures we have up here, this is a patient who was treated twice with this machine several months apart. All right.
Wow.
And this person, actually, you know what, I'm gonna take that back. The second picture was after the first treatment, and then the third treatment picture is after 3 total treatments.
Okay.
So how do you do this? Well, picture a gigantic suction cup, maybe that big. And you take that suction cup and you put it right on the, in this case it's her abdomen, and it sucks all of her fat and skin. It's like pinch an inch, you know that? Sucks it right into it. And in this, on the suction cup there are 2 plates on either side, which are basically little refrigerators, and it's a nice big expensive machine. Turn that on, and what it does is it lowers the temperature of the tissue between the 2 plates to 33 degrees Fahrenheit, so it's not really sub-zero at all. It's 1 degree above freezing. And the number one question is, well, how can it kill fat and not hurt skin? Well, fat will freeze at 39 degrees Fahrenheit, and freezing water or cells is going to be 32 degrees. So you've got this little sweet spot area between the two. And the idea is that the fat will crystallize because of the cold inside the cells. And the crystallized fat is going to hurt that cell. So the fat cell itself will then involute, which means it'll just shrivel up and die. And that shrivel up and die part may take 2, 3, 4 months. So it's not an instant gratification.
And then the body exfoliates that?
Essentially, it absorbs those cells as they slowly are dying a natural death, so to speak.
So the body eliminates the fat cells through the system.
So you're not exploding fat cells and having all these triglycerides everywhere. It's
so doctor,
shrinking.
if I went outside and just in the freezing weather, what's the difference?
I don't think that'll work, Lou.
No, but
Do not travel to the East Coast and think you're going to get this treatment free today.
I'm certain of
well,
that.
I will tell you
But
that
I'm asking the question because you said, well,
it would work.
It would work.
But you wouldn't be controlling it very well. Your whole body would be cold. Your core temperature would go down. You would have ill effects of being too cold. So in this way, we're taking the fat-reducing property and separating it from the entire body. So you're not going to have any of the systemic problems of having too low
and no
cold.
danger of freezing the skin frostbite
No, because
effect.
this very expensive machine is regulating the temperature at 33 degrees. And shouldn't you be asking me, does it hurt? Because you should ask that, because most men ask that.
Does it hurt?
Does it hurt?
Who cares if you're going to have a waist?
See, that's a woman's attitude. I don't care. And the man is, does it hurt? Well, cold is an anesthetic. So the machine is brilliant, of course, in that it lowers the temperature slowly and it anesthetizes as it goes. So what you feel is a pulling from the vacuum and a little tingling, but it's not painful. And you will literally sit there for an hour, if it's your plank, with this thing stuck to you. Right? And then that's detached and you do it on the other side. So the whole thing will take a couple hours.
It sounds marvelous.
Now, the question was raised during the break about, well, what happens to the dead fat cells, and is that harmful to you, and where does it go? Well, you have to understand that the body cells are dying all the time, that we turn over all the time. And because this technique causes a slow involution or a slow death. In medicine, we call it apoptosis, which I thought is a very cool word. But anyway, normal cell death over a period of time, the body just sends out its little macrophages, little immune cells, and eats up these cells. So it's just a
And does the body eliminate? Does it
process.
flush out of the
body? The body will metabolize it down to its elements, to its...
so the flush away the new toilet would help.
It would help anybody, I'm sure, who wants to get rid of something. But just so that there's no confusion on that, it doesn't cause that kind of a cleansing of the body. It's something that the person would never know is going on.
I think
it doesn't. It's very safe. There really are no long-term side effects. The areas right after treatment are going to be red and maybe tender, and it may be slightly numb for a couple months. Yeah, so that's one treatment also, too. So a guy in really good shape or a girl in really good shape can kind of fine-tune that body.
So, pulling this down into a consensus of ideas here.
Yes.
this would be fine tuning, as you've said, with this body that you are enamored with.
Localized fat.
Okay, or someone who has an excessive amount or more than they want. I mean, can you bring that body down to this one you're enamored with?
No, you have to be somewhere in the range of a normal body weight. This is not about weight loss, and this is not about overall fat reduction.
But when you say not about weight loss, will they lose some weight? If they won't lose any weight?
All the studies have been done meticulously to not allow them to lose weight.
Okay.
And so all these results that you just saw, these are all people who either gained a pound or lost a pound, but they're really quite, and I can lose 5 pounds in 5 minutes if I just don't eat salt for a day.
Right,
so
exactly.
that's really the same way. This would help if, say, your muscles are really tight, so you can tighten your muscles and it looks pretty good, but you can pinch an inch.
Okay.
This is good for that. But if you have nice tight muscles, but you can pinch that skin, but there's like no fat there, and we do have thin women with lots of loose skin, this would not be the appropriate treatment. Thermage would be the appropriate treatment for that person, where you need to tighten the skin, because that will do more tightening than fat. This will do more fat than tightening. And then, of course, what I want to do is put them together.